At any gathering of Bosnian Americans, you'll find a community who's melded their traditional culture with American life to create a unique new identity. Come catch the rhythms of music, dance, and arts, and learn authentic recipes for dishes like Brac, Cevapi, and Sarma. Coming up next, we'll join the Bosnian American community to share in some of their challenges and celebrations on this week's World in America. Located in the Balkan Peninsula, Bosnia traces its heritage back to Slavic settlers in the Middle Ages. For many centuries, its capital city, Sarajevo, had been known as a cosmopolitan center for the arts and culture. Historically, Bosnia's population consisted of Muslims, Orthodox Christians, and Catholics of various and often mixed ethnic descents. Bosnia became part of the former Yugoslavia in 1929, but by the time of Tito's death in 1980, the Union had begun to dissolve. The early 1990s brought regional civil war, and many Bosnians came to the U.S. to escape the conflict. These new immigrants settled primarily in areas with existing Slavic communities that could provide resources to support them. In particular, the Astoria section of New York City welcomed many Bosnians, and a large mosque was dedicated there in 1997. Next, we'll learn more about their history through the voices of Bosnian Americans themselves. Coming up on World in America. We're back with World in America.
Bosnian people, we are very friendly people.
Bosnian Americans are definitely hardworking, honest people with strong family ties.
They are a constructive member of this society, and as the mayor just told me, they are very industrious and hardworking people.
Bosnian Americans, mostly people who came after, suffered so much.
There's differences between describing Bosnians and Bosnian Americans.
I would describe them as very hardworking people, people that value friendships and relationships.
So it's sort of like this illusionary, I guess, identity that, can thrive here.
Hardworking with a strong sense of community, the Bosnian Americans value their dual cultural heritage for the rich perspective it brings to their lives.
What brought Bosnian Americans to America? There are really four ways. The first one would be starting in late 19th century. One of my cousins was actually a part of that wave, and he was the founder of First Bosnian American Association here.
Those first immigrants who came, they came to escape Austro-Hungarian regime and also to see if they can make some money and go back.
People who came in early 20th centuries, their challenges were significant. They did not have the language, they were not educated, they were poor in quite a few areas.
All of them came unmarried. Since they couldn't find here any Muslim woman to marry, they stayed single.
That group did not survive. They were mainly males. They were always hoping that they would return back to Bosnia. They were sending money, and some of them did return. Eventually, most of them did not.
The second wave of immigrants came after the Second World War.
They were more affluent. They did speak the language.
Those immigrants came as political asylees.
The challenges was because they were small in numbers, how to keep their identity and the really identity they longed for, while at the same time being integrated and living successfully in United States.
While the U.S. government considered the early immigrants to be Yugoslavian, the most recent immigrants have emphasized their uniquely Bosnian identity.
What brought me here? Curiosity. I came to visit my aunt, I met my husband, and I got married.
My family left at the beginning of the most recent war in the Balkans, and I left with my mom and my sisters, and we moved first to Turkey as refugees, and then we moved to Germany, and that's where my father joined us, and then we moved to the United States. So it was really a search for a new home.
Unfortunately, the biggest wave, the fourth wave, happened during the war in Bosnia. It started as early as 91 and really ended with maybe 2000.
They came as refugees after the war of aggression that happened in 1992.
The rest of the Bosnians came. I think the world should know how they came. They were chased out of their homes.
We had no place to go back, so we kept looking, and we applied to Australia and America, and Australia rejected us, and America accepted us, so we came here.
But the Bosnian identity in America is also unique, a melding of old memories and new perspectives.
I feel that Bosnian Americans have created their own kind of Bosnia within America. So it's sort of this imaginary place where I think they picked the best from their past and their culture and tradition, and have kind of melted it with parts of American culture and living here.
Culturally, the Bosnians' strong spirit, determination, and adaptability to changing situations allowed them to weather their new life in America.
I think that the biggest challenge would be the language, and then maybe understanding the differences between the communist and capitalist society in terms of working, establishing working relationships, going about forming their livelihoods.
They come into strange country, they chased out of their homes, they didn't have nobody. At least I had my aunt here, you know.
For the most part, we really have benefits of living in the United States with all the laws and respects for human rights and things like that. But at the same time, we can enjoy our culture and we have freedoms of expression.
Cross-cultural transitions can be tricky, but maintaining identity across new generations can be an even bigger challenge.
My children will live in the United States in a single society, but I would like them to travel.
Because in the United States there's a higher standard, so it's very easy to get used to the fact that things are available to you readily, and sometimes maybe you get a little spoiled by that and lose sense of reality.
We made an arrangement that my wife's parents or my parents rotate to help us with children.
I'd like them to keep their language, to be able to communicate to grandparents.
We have no problems, bringing our parents, having 3 generations live in the same roof, given that we are looking for a larger home.
I have granddaughter now. She listens to Bosnian music. I speak Bosnian with her. To me, my language is the most important thing.
Bosnian language is a bridge between the two identities, between American identity and Bosnian identity.
Once you don't understand language, you are a stranger. Doesn't matter if you're born there.
I was born here, but I've visited Bosnia and Herzegovina many times, and I like it there.
I don't want these children to change. We don't have to be changed to live in America. We don't have to change to live here. I just don't have to, and I wouldn't want to change.
Well, if I'm gonna visit Bosnia and speak to my family, I want to learn about the ways that we're gonna, write, read, and like the language.
With a strong sense of personal identity, the Bosnian Americans feel fully comfortable traveling across their two worlds. Coming up, we'll learn an authentic recipe for some hearty Bosnian dishes. Next on World in America. Welcome back to World in America. When they're looking for a taste of old world flavor, Bosnian Americans head to Jardan for some authentic home cooking.
Jardan means actually a string of pearls, a pearl necklace on Turkish. And it was meant because we have started our first restaurant in 1997, my father had started. And this is our third restaurant that was opened up. And it's quite important because it's in the city. And it's close to Times Square to everybody. Okay, now my mom is going to prepare sarma, which is a very, very traditional Bosnian dish. We actually prepare it almost on a daily basis. These are the ingredients. We already have some prepared for you. So we have some chopped raw onions that are right here. You have some pre-cooked rice. And we have a couple of the spices. Very basic, simple spices that we use in Bosnian cuisine, which is something called vegeta. And that's right here. It's basically just dried up vegetables with some salt, and you put it all together, just mix them up, and you would start rolling them.
Most Bosnian dishes utilize the country's readily available ingredients: roasted meats, cabbage, onions, paprika, and fresh breads, all of which make for a hearty and delicious meal.
When we mention Bosnian cuisine, we're talking about dishes of sarma, tulumba, Cevapi, Brac. Those are the type of very traditional foods.
My favorite is sarma, which is really a cabbage leaf in which you put rice and ground beef and spices, and then you wrap them and cook them.
It's usually a very hearty, homemade, as you saw, labor-intensive type of dishes. We don't use too many spices. We are quite limited on the spices, but it's just wholesome, hearty, healthy food, I would say. Now my mom is going to prepare burack. It's actually a spinach burack. The burack is very traditional of Bosnian cuisine. It's very specific of this restaurant as well, because our dough is hand-stretched and all the ingredients are freshly used. My mom is actually first going to prepare the spinach, and with spinach she's going to add some cheese in it and some salt, and it's actually a fresh cut up spinach. This is going to be used to fill the buraks.
Burek and different types of pitas. It's a filled pastry stuffed with meat or cheese or potatoes or, I mean, basically almost anything.
Dishes that you will find in the Middle East are very present and prevalent in Bosnia, but then you also have schnitzel, which is also a household item in Bosnia.
And now my mom is going to prepare another very, very traditional dish. It's called cevapi or cevapčići. It's basically sausage that's made of different types of ground meat.
Some of my favorite Bosnian dishes are cevapčići, which are like grilled Bosnian sausages, very tasty, usually served with bread and onions.
Cevapi is something that you go out to eat. And usually in the center of the square, when you would go, for instance, in Sarajevo, the whole place smells of cevapi because there's so many restaurants, one after another, where you just buy cevapi. Cevapi is served in a traditional pita bread or samoon. This is the Brac Slice, and it's usually eaten with yogurt, homemade yogurt, and it's quite delicious, the two combo. And we have the sarma, the stuffed cabbage. And last but not least, we have the tulumba, which is a traditional dessert that we did in the kitchen. That's already dipped into sauce and it's ready to be eaten. And we have also Turkish coffee, of course, to follow with that.
I enjoy cooking quite a bit. I don't have as much time for cooking, but I really enjoy cooking.
The part of the culture is to be a good host. To serve nice, lavish meals, elaborate meals. When we invite our friends, it's quite a few courses. I mean, we basically will spend a weekend preparing food in order to host our friends together, and we enjoyed that.
The way that you do show your hospitality often is to offer food, desserts, or main course, or things like that. You try to do everything you can to make people feel comfortable at your home.
And here it is, you had a taste of traditional Bosnian cuisine. Enjoy, prijatno.
Obradovali, radost kad iskazujete.
Besides taking meals with family and friends, gatherings at cultural centers, mosques, and schools also keep traditions alive.
Bosnia is concentrated in few communities, so we're really not just spread out throughout the country. We have major populations in New York, Chicago, St. Louis areas, Atlanta, Georgia, California, and Arizona, and a few more. So we're to a degree concentrated. For that reason, it is possible to have centers.
Every year, Bosnian Americans and Bosnian Canadians get together at the Bosnian Convention, which has become now traditional. During Memorial Weekend, in some major American and Canadian cities, we hold our annual Bosnian Convention.
I know that across America there are many more Bosnians, over 300,000. They are integrating into the society, and of course they do not forget that they are Bosnians, so they come to Bosnia too. They are keeping their identity, and they have a talent of integrating into the society without losing their identity.
We have religious programs, cultural programs, sport, also some political consultation.
Oh, I would like to see it where we have nice big communities, a lot of activities for children, language schools, folklore, in terms of dance, in terms of Bosnian kids getting together and learning about the culture, a lot of even sports activities, where they could share and meet each other. I mean, share experiences, meet each other, basically grow up together with similar values, maybe organize different field trips to Bosnia. I mean, I would like to see a very good, strong school for kids, for example.
I jednog dana je ostavio obuću ispred I kad se probudio.
This Bosnian school helps kids learn the language and brings them closer to their culture.
I come from Bosnia 37 years ago. I used to have my own business, used to work, and once the war started in Bosnia, I decided the rest of my life that I'm going to give to Bosnian children.
I've been attending this school 8 years, and it's been excellent every more year.
To me, it's very, very important that they speak Bosnian. So that's why we decided last year to start the Bosnian school.
Another one of my friends told me about this school, Bosnian school. I said, well, it's not Montenegrin school, but it will do. It's the same language. So when I started coming here, it was pretty good. I mean, I learned the language, I learned how to write.
The mosque offers another way to preserve shared heritage. Holidays such as Maulid, which celebrates the Prophet Muhammad's birthday, regularly brings members of the Bosnian American community together.
They say Bosnians are rather secular, and that is true. We are religious, but we are secular. Religion is a form of identity for us, and the major events that keep, the religious events that really keep the community are around two festivals, annual Bayrams, where Bosnians congregate together in thousands. So it's really just transcends just the religion. It's a communal event, and religion is an incredibly important catalyst in keeping the community together.
If we help our youngsters to keep religious values, Islamic values, that we are helping this country and that we are contributing to this country by giving them good citizens, well-oriented, family-oriented American citizens.
Spiritual rituals provide comfort and support, especially for war refugees separated from loved ones. Artist Ida Sahovic used another Bosnian ritual, gathering for coffee, as an artistic symbol honoring the victims of Srebrenica.
The project is called Što te nema, which roughly translates in English as "Why are you not here?" or "Why are you not coming?" It's a one-day installation or performance during which the collected cups are laid on the ground, on the street, in a public place. The coffee is made on the spot, it's poured into the cups, and it's a long process that lasts for hours, and that's part of it. And then the coffee just sits there because nobody comes to drink it. And each cup corresponds symbolically or refers to one lost person. The number of the cups corresponds to the bodies that are identified and laid to rest each year.
Coffee, it's something that's used for social occasions, to bring people together to discuss things as a polite gesture. Anyway, coffee is a common theme.
People were surprisingly really moved. I didn't know what to expect. The women didn't know what to expect, but it was very effective in terms of that it was sort of an interruption from daily life.
Communities that share their grief must also share their joys, and music and dance help Bosnian Americans celebrate their culture.
There's a type of song, Bosnian song, that it's called Sevdalinka, and that type of song is probably something that's liked by younger as well as older generations. I think most people enjoy that. It's I think, really nice type of song.
There are many steps to learn and to follow through, a lot of footwork basically, and holding hands, partners. It's all about your feet. With those dances, we can change the steps sometimes, but it's all traditional.
Back then, they used to dance like that all the time, like the little kids and everything, and when they started growing up, it just became part of the tradition.
quiet determination, Bosnian Americans have successfully integrated in American culture and incorporated America into their communal identity.
What will happen to the Bosnian community? We don't know. We'll see that in the next 30 to 40 years. But I think the ultimate goal should be really to provide both, to keep both cultures, to help diversity of this country.
I think the message to American community would be thank you. Definitely thank you for all the opportunity that we've been given and the way we were accepted here. And to the Bosnians would be to become better activists within their community, to try to preserve their heritage, to have a strong community, because I think that's the only way to preserve and survive within this bigger melting pot of United States, basically.
They respect their own identity and they respect the identities of the others around them, and they are, of course, now Bosnian Americans.